listening to The Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
And I'm the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
No, you're not.
Could I be the phenomenal one at least? No? The phenomenal Daryl.
The least phenomenal.
It says phenomenal in the name.
It does have phenomenal in the name.
All right.
So, this is Ian.
I'm Daryl, the least phenomenal one.
Yes. And today is Friday, so it's the pro segment and the indie segment. And so we're going to be talking about Money in the Bank.
Yep.
That happened last Sunday. So,
exactly. There's like something attacking me. What the hell it is, but I'm being eaten for dinner.
There's a lot of it.
All in all, yes. All in all, I give it a good 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah, for me, the matches were great. Some of the winners not my favorites, so I would say more of a 7.5.
Okay, I can respect that.
So,
real quick, we just want to run through some matches and talk about them. Actually, I want to talk about first the pre-show match.
Yeah.
The Usos versus the Shield. Phenomenal match. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great match. Daryl's word of the night is phenomenal.
I'm the least phenomenal one.
Apparently. But, it was a great match. We talked about, in one of our segments, we talked about opening and closing a show. And that's how you open a show. I'm sure it got people enticed into the show and said, man, all right, I'll spend the $45-$50 to get the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because, with a match like that gives everybody else in the back that watches that something to like, man, we really got to go out and step up our game.
Yeah.
And then, like, with it being before a pay-per-view, people are going to see that and be like, man, they put that on before the pay-per-view, and that match is that good. I'm buying it. I want to see what else they have in store.
The whole card for the whole night was one that was set up really well, and it was a great show. After the pre-show match with the tag titles, which of course the Shield retained the tag titles, which was good because I think they need to keep it for a while. I don't really see anyone taking it away from them except maybe if they get into a conflict with the Wyatt family.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see that happening, but
them get into a conflict. Not that the Wyatts couldn't win the titles, but them get into a conflict. I don't see that happen.
So that was a great match. And after the pre-show, they started off the show with the
first
Money
in the Bank ladder match with not the All-Star one, but the first one.
Right.
I thought it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, the winner of it was Damien Sandow.
And we're not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Of him winning.
That's one thing I didn't really like.
Yeah.
It looked like they were going to give it to Cody Rhodes, but of course, Damien Sandow. That kind of was obvious that Damien Sandow screwed over Cody Rhodes to get the title.
We talked about that. We liked it. We
watched in the long run, that's a good thing.
Everybody was into it. They was all like, wow, and they thought that was pretty cool. Then all in all, I thought that was a good match. Our picks, and the majority of the picks that was at the house watching it, wanted Cody Rhodes or why am I drawing a blank? The Shield, Dean Ambrose, to win. Those were our two picks that we would have been really excited if those two won.
Yeah, because those two guys, they're already. Dean Ambrose is already getting a really big push for being the United States title or the United States champion and being pretty much the leader of the Shield. He's got a pretty good push going right now, and I hope they keep going with that because he's going to be a major superstar later on.
And now, but as you know, this does set up with Cody Rhodes. He's obviously going to turn baby. And so I know you're excited about this because you feel that Cody Rhodes is one of the most underrated superstars right now. Definitely not utilized to his full potential. So hopefully he gets a big push from this. And he turns baby. If we're reading the situation right and what we think, he'll probably turn baby. And hopefully a big push should come from this. Obviously him and Sandow are going to feud a lot.
Yeah.
And it could culminate into a big match where Sandow picks up the briefcase mean, that could happen at a pay-per-view. This happened before.
Has it?
I
don't know.
I believe so. I may be wrong, but I think I'm right.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean,
yeah.
So that was the first match of the night, which was another great way to start it. You know, the way they ended it was with the All-Star one, which I'm glad they decided to do with the All-Star instead of either one of the title, the heavyweight or the WWE title.
But now with the All-Star one, that was a great match. But both of us and majority of the people in the house was disappointed that Orton won that.
Yeah, well, it was just kind of unexpected, just because Orton doesn't need the big push because he's already had the big push.
Everybody's seen him and seen him wrestle so many times.
Yeah, and he's already had the title multiple times now, and so I mean,
well, I think the big one in our house for that pay-per-view or for that match was RVD.
Well, for me, it was RVD, of course. I mean, I wanted RVD to win. I mean, the big reveal of the night, or not reveal of the night, but the big thing of the night was that RVD was coming back for his first time with WWE in a long time. Yeah. And so I was really hoping they would start him out with a good push with because supposedly they only have him for a year. I mean, they only have him.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's only like a limited year contract.
So, I mean, I was really hoping that he would, be a big part of this year. But we'll see. I'm still a phenomenal wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers. Yeah. Phenomenal. Why am I saying phenomenal now?
You're stealing my word now.
Golly. But
now, Ian's favorite match of the night. He talked about this one. He hyped this one up.
Yeah.
He was so excited when it happened. I know what I'm going to say. It was the Divas match.
Oh.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, the Divas match with AJ Lee and Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So he was so excited about that one. Very excited. Like, nobody could, he made everybody be quiet in the room. He wanted to really...
Well, I do have to give it to him. WWE is getting a little better with their women and their women's matches.
Yeah.
They are getting a little better. I do have to give it to AJ. She has one of the coolest submission moves and finishers.
Yes.
The Black Widow, where she wraps... I mean, it's so weird. She comes around like it's a tornado or a hurricanrana, not a hurricanrana.
There's like something attacking me. I don't know what it is. Like there's something going on. I swear there's something. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not that kind of crazy.
But she did finish it with her Black Widow submission move, which is an awesome submission move.
Yes.
So
it's very cool. Now I think the reason why WWE is trying to step up their women wrestling is because TNA does such a great job with women wrestling, but I don't want to talk about TNA right now. Another match I really liked, and I like the push that this kid is getting, is Curtis Axel. He wrestled The Miz.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of The Miz. I like him.
Am too.
Now, when he first came on, because I mean, I remember when he was on the first Road Rules that he was on, then they started doing all the challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was on Real World.
Real World, that's what I meant. Then he started doing all the challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I was in middle school and I remember watching him, and I don't know, I kind of brought that. I liked him back in Real World just because I was a teenager, and I enjoyed watching him on there, especially because I was a wrestling fan. He was a wrestling fan, and he was building this persona.
Yeah, and he had the Miz persona. That's all him. That's him on the. If you go back and watch, but I mean. So I'm excited, and so I was excited when he got to actually be on Tough Enough, and he got to, come and get a contract. I was excited. I wasn't a big fan of his when he first started wrestling because his wrestling wasn't that great. But now, I mean, I think he's really worked on his.
He's phenomenal.
I was going to say superb, but he's phenomenal. I mean, he's looking really good, and I'm really big on Curtis Axel right now.
Yeah.
And so their match together was really good, and I see a lot of great things just from these two individuals in the future. I see a lot of great things from these two in the future.
Well, I mean, WWE, we've talked about before, is that in the last couple of months, I think really since WrestleMania, after WrestleMania was kind of a flop, but the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania was unbelievable. Yeah. And I think since that Raw, it's really just been very well put together. So I think WWE has a really good group of workers right now, and I think they're really building up steam.
Yeah, I think so. Now, I'm only going to say one thing about this one match. I wasn't a real big fan of this match. I'm not real big on this wrestler. Ryback won his first pay-per-view match in over a year. All right, so the next match we'll talk about is John Cena and Mark Henry. I thought it was a decent match. I knew Henry wasn't going to win. I wanted Henry to win. I've said that in a previous show. I would love for him to win. And now it looks like they have squashed that storyline altogether.
Which, I mean, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean well, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, you said earlier that John Cena has a total moveset of maybe 10 moves.
Yeah, 5. Right? But I think it's 5 basic moves.
Well, and I said that Mark Henry's moves are about half of that.
Yeah.
So Mark Henry is about
so that
2.5
actually cuts Cena's moves in half because Mark Henry's a big dude too.
Yeah.
So it's only a basic series of like maybe 3 or 4 moves going back and forth through the whole match.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought it was a pretty decent match all in all.
Yeah, for those two guys, I mean, it was a decent match.
Because Mark Henry's up there in age.
Not a WWE heavyweight or.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't worthy of a main event. Yeah. Which I'm glad it didn't do that as a main event. Easily, in my opinion, match of the night. Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio.
I wouldn't go match of the night because I think the All-Star
that was a great match.
Ladder match.
But I mean that's a real gimmick match, you know.
Yeah.
And there's multiple participants.
I mean just a wrestling match. There weren't very many of them. Well, there were a few of them, but definitely Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. They've had a lot of really good matches.
Yeah, they work real well
over the last couple months, and I wanted, and I still want Dolph Ziggler to be the heavyweight champion. I enjoyed it. I loved it when he won it because that was so unexpected. I'm glad he's stepping away from Big E and AJ, which is we'll talk about Raw in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he's getting away from them and really going baby. I hope they change up some of his persona, but at the same time, I like his energy.
Yeah.
And so I look forward to.
To me, in my opinion, easily match of the night. If you didn't watch it, AJ cost on the match. She interfered, cost on the match.
Which didn't really make sense. Why? I mean, what was she doing? Either, obviously it was.
Obviously, they were setting up what happened on Raw, but I mean, it was kind of.
But it was like, okay, she was going to jump in and hit Alberto Del Rio and cost the title, or hit Dolph Ziggler, or
I mean, I don't know what was going on. That was a weird moment.
But it still made the moment. I mean,
he made the moment when he started going nuts.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler lost. I mean, and so he got pissed off at AJ. I mean, and Alberto Del Rio is still the champion. So I mean, it was a great match.
Yeah, and then now obviously your opinion on match of the night, the All Stars.
Yeah,
I thought very great match, almost a phenomenal again. But I mean, I don't know why I'm stuck on that word now. It was a very great match. I really enjoyed that match. Glad it was like the match that ended the show.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, Randy Orton wasn't the choice. It doesn't really make sense. Anything makes sense. They can make anything.
Well, Chris Jericho, his contract is done right now.
Chris Jericho wasn't in the All-Star match.
He wasn't in the All-Star match. I don't know what I meant.
But
he could have been. But he wasn't. I'm thinking Christian. I don't really see Christian doing anything. He's just in WWE.
He just came back from his injury.
Yeah, but in WWE, he'll never be a top star.
Yeah,
no matter how hard he tries.
Yeah, I don't understand.
In TNA, he was like a top star for a little while. But I mean, he'll never be that top dog in WWE. I just don't see it happening. Especially to be in a title chase like that.
But the big part of the match was the very end. CM Punk was just about to go grab the title, and Paul Heyman screws him over. Yep. And it was expected.
If you watch wrestling on a consistent basis, you know how storylines work and how things go on. Right. You kind of knew it was coming. I mean, it wasn't totally far fetched that it wasn't going to happen. I mean, we saw it coming. We've talked about it privately that at some point this was what was going to happen.
Right.
You know, especially he set it up when he came back.
Yeah.
And
pushing Paul Heyman away.
Was pushing Paul Heyman away. So at that point, we kind of knew. Yeah. And then especially when Brock Lesnar jumped on that one night.
Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, I'm glad that's happening. It gives CM Punk a better chance at being a baby. I mean, he's even as they try to make him a heel, he was still a baby just because he's a phenomenal. I think we're gonna have like a swear jar,
right?
When we say phenomenal, but I mean, he's a great wrestler. I mean, no matter what, people are gonna like him, and so Andy's
and that takes him out of the title picture, and sets him up for something which we'll get to in a second. But so overall, that one Orton won that ladder match. Yeah. Wasn't a big fan of that, but you know, I digress. It's crazy. All in all, from my opinion, 8 out of 10. You said 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it was well worth the money that we put in. So,
and it sets up for SummerSlam is their next pay-per-view. It's in LA. It's already sold out.
It's going to be huge. The match card so far is really building up.
Oh, there's not a whole lot named for it yet, except
let's move into Raw real quick, because as you mentioned a second ago, Raw has really, since WrestleMania, has really just gotten so much better.
Especially the Raws right after pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I like how they keep it in the same city, so the energy in the crowd is still pumped from the night before. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, well, you know, Vicky was fired as general manager. Now Brad Maddox is the general manager. He had a segment early in the night where he was talking to Cena in the ring. He told Cena, "You know what? I'm gonna let you pick your SummerSlam opponent." So we'll jump to the end of Raw. We'll talk about some more stuff in the middle. We'll talk about this one thing real quick. So we jump to the end of Raw. Cena's out there. All the superstars are out on the stage area. He's going through and he's like, "You know what? I got." He goes, "Wrestlers have been coming up talking to me. I've been thinking about it." He goes, "But I want the WWE Universe's opinion." He said, so he would call out individuals on stage and ask the audience. You know, some got a yeah, and someone got a and RVD got a big pop. But as he went through, then you saw it was kind of coming to an end. The segment was, and he goes, "Have I forgot anybody?" And it was amazing. Like somebody just held up a cue card because everybody, as soon as he says, "Is there anybody I forgot?" or whatever, everybody starts chanting, "Yes, yes, yes." And he's like, "Are you sure I haven't forgot anybody?" And they're like, "Yes, yes, yes." He goes, all right. I made up my mind. He goes, "I'm going to pick Daniel Bryan." Great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm big on Daniel Bryan. His girlfriend's big on Daniel Bryan. As long as he shaves the beard. She likes clean shaven Daniel Bryan.
Which won't happen anytime soon because they're selling a lot of merchandise with his beard. But
respect the beard. I got a goatee. So respect the goatee. But I'm excited. He came down to the ring. A little face-off. Really good segment. Yeah. I mean, really good. I'm excited. I love Daniel Bryan. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be... this is definitely going to be out of John Cena's comfort zone. He cannot wrestle like Daniel Bryan wrestles.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, it's definitely two different styles. Yeah. Cena's more of a powerhouse, bruiser, Daniel Bryan's very technical in a lot of stuff that he does.
Yeah.
He can do some high-flying stuff if he needs to, but he's very much a technical wrestler, very much like his style. Yeah. Some other things that happened, Fandango came out also in the first segment with John Cena, and Randy Orton came out first, talking about how you're not going to know when I cash it in, kind of thing, setting that up. Then Fandango came out, and everybody started Fandangoing, so the energy is pretty cool. I'm still not getting it. I mean, I don't, whatever.
His entrance
he comes out and that sets up.
Keeps him alive right now.
That sets up a match between Fandango and Randy Orton, like right then.
Yeah.
Then there's like some other good matches that happened. It was really good. The best segment of the night. CM Punk comes out. He's like, I'm just gonna cut to it. He goes, Paul Heyman, I want you to come out here. He goes, I know Brock Lesnar's in the building. He goes, let's do this. Paul Heyman comes out. The best back and forth I've seen in a very, very long time. Amazing. Then it obviously finishes. Brock Lesnar comes out. Yeah. They get into a big scrap. It looked good. It actually has me excited to see them really wrestle one another. But it ended up Brock Lesnar kind of pinning it to CM Punk.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Anything else Raw related you want to talk about?
Just the AJ and
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio had a rematch, and it was good. I mean, just as good as what it was on the pay-per-view. And then there was a submission move or something was going on. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you hear the bell ring. And so, like, you see Ziggler and the referee both look up, and the referee's like, no, I didn't call for no bell. And then the camera pans over, you see AJ Lee taking a hood off, and she rang the bell. And he got Dolph on his knees going, what are you doing? And then as soon as he says that, Alberto Del Rio, bam, kicks him right in the side of the head, pins him. He finally kind of comes back up to it. Him and AJ are going at it. She's like hitting him and slapping him. He like pushes her back, and as he turns around, Big E links and boom, right there, just obliterates him. She goes down and kind of gives him a kiss, and then her and Big E walk out. So that's setting up a feud between him and Big E. I'm not excited about that. I'm not big on Big E Langston. I don't.
I mean, but we haven't seen a whole lot.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? We haven't seen a whole lot of them. But.
So we'll see where it goes. I mean, Dolph Ziggler's a really good wrestler, and so he's come a really long way, and so I think he'll help improve Big E's wrestling.
Absolutely.
And see how that goes. So
I think that's it for Raw stuff. Real quick, I want to touch on. I got to watch WWE's main event for the first time ever last night.
It comes on Monday nights, I believe, or
no,
not
Wednesdays.
Wednesday nights at I think 8.
Yeah. So. And normally we're together on Wednesday nights. And so
whoa.
Not like that.
Down there too.
But we don't get to watch it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And so I got to watch it last night, and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And I had a match with Justin Gabriel.
Yeah.
And
which he frequents on main event. They don't really ever pull him. They occasionally pull him to SmackDown, but he really frequents on main event. So.
I'm excited. He was part of the original NXT.
Yeah.
He was wrestling Heath Slater, who was also part of the original NXT. And then it was a very good match. He is awesome, dude. I can't wait to see him come to the main roster, like hopefully Raw, because we never get to watch SmackDown. I can't even tell you what's going on SmackDown. We never get to watch that for some reason. Always something going on.
I usually catch it, like I believe I mentioned it before, but Raw and SmackDown, they play back-to-back twice, starting at around 7 or 8 on Saturday. They start at 7 or 8 on Saturday.
Text me and remind me that.
And so they start with Raw, then they show SmackDown, then they go to Raw, then they go to SmackDown. And so, I mean, it ends at like 4 o'clock in the morning, but I mean, that's when I usually catch
that's like
SmackDown.
10 hours of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely catch parts of it here, and then catch up again.
Yeah, you know what? Text me and let me know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Justin Gabriel to come out. Now, the Wyatt family actually came out on main event and interfered in that match and beat up Justin Gabriel and all three of 3-man band, whatever. And which was kind of cool because if you think about it, Justin Gabriel. Original NXT, Heath Slater, original NXT, Bray Wyatt, original NXT. So it was kind of neat to see that some still original members of the original NXT are still there.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett, obviously, he's on the main roster. So I mean that was pretty cool. I don't really have anything else in the pros to talk about.
Yeah, not really. I mean, other than with the Wyatt family. One thing that I didn't quite understand is why they introduced the Wyatt family and attacked Kane the Monday before Money in the Bank, and then they didn't really introduce them or show them.
Well, you know what they're doing though is Bray Wyatt, after they've been beating people up on every segment, as he sends messages, he's been sending this message to Kane, and it was something about check underneath the buzzard or something, or follow the buzzard, or I don't know. So I don't know what they got going on with Kane, or if Kane is going to come back to a new gimmick. That might be neat. You know, if he comes back and like kind of not in his outfit that he wears now or something. Or
I mean, I hope. I mean, I don't know how they would do it or what he would do because he doesn't have a beard. But I mean, if he
he's out now with that concussion.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm really getting tired of WWE with the 3-man groups, Shield, 3MB. I mean, they just there's a couple others I'm not thinking of, but they keep trying to just put 3 people together and make them.
Well, some of them need to grow more. I think the Wyatt family needs to grow more.
Either the Wyatt family or the Shield. One of them needs to become a faction or a stable more than just a 3-man tag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think something like that needs to happen. So whether it be the Wyatt family that grows or whether it be the Shield that grows, I honestly think the Shield would be better if they grew.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want them to be like the Aces and Eights and taking over the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the indie scene real quick. We got to visit a show this weekend, and we actually had a special guest with us. His name is Jacob, and he and his mom are self-proclaimed #1 fans of Ring Icon and the Announcers Table, and they watch all our videos. And so I'm friends with his mom, and so I took him to his very first ever live wrestling match, or we took him, because we went up there. It was in Jasper, Georgia. It was Deep Southern Championship Wrestling.
It was at Rocco's Pub. They usually do it every 6 weeks or so. And it's an outdoor show, which is always really cool.
It was early in the afternoon. It was like around 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's different than your average, Saturday night show. So it doesn't quite have the fan base yet, just because it's pretty
in
new.
Jasper, they
right,
don't have
and Jasper,
but they run every Saturday night out of Blue Ridge, Georgia.
But they still pulled a great crowd for it being rainy, for it being a Sunday. You know what I mean?
Because we actually got rained out. We got to watch 2 matches. The first match had this guy named Torque in it, who Jacob actually loved. He actually went home talking about him.
Yeah.
And he's really good. We're both pretty high on Torque. We've seen him wrestle a few times now.
Yeah.
Really good, really good. He actually hit a 450,
the 450
right?
splash, yeah.
And he did the closest 450 splash I've ever seen to the ropes.
Yeah.
So here's the ring. The guy's like right here. There could have been maybe a foot between the guy and the rope. And he
enough for his knees to make it there.
Yeah, I don't... Like, when he hit it, Ian and I looked at each other, and we're like, what? I mean, it was crazy.
I definitely wasn't really expecting a 450 splash. So, I mean, it was a great match, and I can't remember his opponent's name.
That's the first time I've seen his opponent.
Yeah.
Now, I know you used to do 450 splash, but you always had your guy set like a certain spot.
For me to do a 450 splash, it was just rotation for me. I mean, so I had to have them exactly where I usually land. So I would set them up for it. I wouldn't let them fall to where they needed to be. I had to pull them into place and make sure that it was set up properly, or I'd land on them and hurt them, land my knees on them, something like that. Because I didn't have much control over it. Because I mean, that's not one of my standard moves. It was just something I was learning and practicing and trying out. But Torque nailed it, and so
I was impressed. I was like, wow.
Big Wood is the promoter and booker for the show.
Yeah, we're actually looking to have him on as an interview guest at some point real soon.
And so he knows how to book it, because he didn't take our advice because we mentioned this afterwards, but he knows how to start a show, and he started the show off with some high flyers that got people interested in the show and interested in the wrestling. So.
Exactly. I mean, it got people to come down to the ring, pay, and watch.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor show, so I mean, if you're outdoors, you kind of can skirt by paying.
Yeah.
But this actually got people to come down to where we was at, pay to get in, and watch it, because that match was really good. But unfortunately, it started raining, so we had to go. And then Jacob also came and watched to the house and watched the pay-per-view with us.
Yeah.
And so he really enjoyed that. He's a big wrestling fan and big fan of ours. So when we walked in and he saw Ian, he was like, he instantly knew who Ian was. It was really cool. And so, Jacob, we want to say thanks for being one of our number one fans, and have fun hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So, all right, but check them out. They have shows every Saturday night in Blue Ridge. They have pull up their roster real quick. They have one of the most extensive rosters for an independent show that I've ever seen. I mean, it's crazy. And what they have going on. They get a bunch of big names in there sometimes. I mean, just look at these people.
They have a very large.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's Gunner from TNA. He was just at one of their shows not too long ago. David Young, Chip Day we know personally. There's a bunch of these people we actually know in real life. Rock and Roll Express, Glacier. So there's Gunner there. Al Snow. I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, it's there's DOC who just got released from TNA.
Yeah.
Kyle Matthews, we're actually looking to try and get on the show as an interviewee coming up. So they have a pretty extensive roster that is just
so if
impressive.
you're in the North Georgia area or South Tennessee area, check it out. Also, you can check out their website, which is dscw.org, and also their fan page, which is I think it's DSCW LLC or Deep Southern.
I think it's DLCW LLC.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just search it. And you'll find
go to their website. I'm sure they have a link to it.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to bring up real quick is actually a Facebook page that I'm a fan of that I like because you know me, y'all starting to know me. I love anything that has to do with wrestling. I soak it all up. I like all wrestlings, and there's this Facebook page called No Wrestling Limitations. They cover a lot of stuff in Japan. Dragon Gate, a lot of newer stuff that's going on, a lot of the older stuff going on. That's really cool. They cover some shows up here that some big names travel around to, or big names on the independent circuit that's not on WWE or TNA anymore. And it's really good if you're just interested in wrestling and hearing about how shows went, because there's so many shows drawing like 2,500, 1,500, 3,500 people at these places. I'm like, holy cow, man, that independent show really got it going on, and so I read up on a lot of the stuff. They put like the match card, like who won, how they won. They talk about stuff. Today they posted a question like, what's your favorite tag team in the indie scene right now? And the first 3 comments on it when I clicked on it was the Young Bucks, which I've heard the name, but I didn't know who they was. And so I looked up, I Googled them real quick, and it pulled up their wrestling images and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, okay, that's who they are. And to me, they look similar, and their gimmick is brothers. I don't know if they're brothers in real life, but their gimmick is them as brothers.
I mean, for me, just looking at their picture, they look a lot like the Hardy Boys
when they first came out.
Yeah, back a long time ago, before they got to WWE. When they were hitting the independent scene, they looked like that's what they reminded me of.
But everybody seems to be really big on them right now. So I mean, especially for the first 3 answers, to pop up to be the same team.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's worth checking them out.
I'll check them out, and so go check it out. No Wrestling Limitations. They post a lot of stuff for different shows just around everywhere. And I get to learn a lot of stuff about some stuff going on in Japan, which we don't really get here. So but other than that, this has been the pros and the indie scene.
Yeah.
And we do this every Friday. Let us know what you think about the new format of the show, how we're doing videos every day just about. Check them out. Wednesdays is Interview Wednesdays. We've got a bunch of great interviews coming up. We have a bunch of great gimmick builders and promotion builders coming up. So you definitely want to check that stuff out. Let us know.
And
let us know what you want us to
channel
talk about.
Check it out.
Yeah, give us feedback. Go to our website, ringicon.com. Give us feedback. He's Ian, I'm Daryl. Just send us a message. Make a profile.
This has been a phenomenal
it's been a phenomenal
episode.
So until next Friday.
Yeah, till next Friday. And next Friday we're actually going to talk about what's happening this week, which is
the TNA's doing TNA Destination X on live TV.
So yeah, we're going to talk about that
live-ish TV.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next Friday. So tune in next Friday to see that. So we'll see you next time.